My mom ordered me to cancel my $12,750 honeymoon and fly home to babysit my siblings or be disowned. She never expected my husband to reveal a secret that changed everything. I had dreamed about my honeymoon for years. After months of planning, endless overtime at work, and carefully saving every dollar, my husband Ethan and I finally boarded a flight to Scotland for the honeymoon we had always wanted. The entire trip had cost us about $12,750, which was more money than I had ever spent on myself in my entire life. I remember looking out the airplane window and feeling happier than I had in years. For once, life felt peaceful. But I should have known peace never lasted long in my family. About 3 hours into the flight, my phone exploded with notifications after we connected to the in-flight Wi-Fi. 31 text messages, all from my mother. At first, I thought something terrible had happened. Instead, the first message read, "Call me immediately." The second message was even stranger. "Your sister needs you." Then came the message that made me stare at the screen in disbelief. "Cancel your honeymoon and come home. Your siblings need someone to watch them." I honestly thought she was joking. My youngest brother was 16. My younger sister was 14. They weren't toddlers, they were teenagers. I called my mother expecting some kind of emergency. Instead, she sounded annoyed. "Finally," she snapped, "your sister Jessica and her husband decided to take a last-minute vacation, and someone has to stay with the kids." I blinked. "What kids?" "My children," she replied. I almost laughed. "Mom, those are your children." She ignored me. "Jessica already spent money on her trip, and she deserves a break." I looked over at Ethan, who was quietly listening. "Mom, I'm on my honeymoon. I know that. You want me to cancel a trip we spent over $12,000 on? Family comes first." I felt my stomach tighten, because growing up, that phrase had always meant one thing: my needs came last. I was the oldest child. Since I was 13 years old, I had been cooking dinners, helping with homework, and basically acting like a third parent. While Jessica enjoyed parties and vacations, I stayed home taking care of everyone else. Even after I moved out, my mother constantly expected me to solve every problem. But this time was different. I was married now. I had my own life. "No," I said. The silence on the phone was immediate. Then my mother exploded. "If you don't come home right now, don't bother coming back at all." I thought she was bluffing. Then she said the words that hurt more than I expected. "You clearly care more about your husband than your real family." Before I could answer, she hung up. I sat there stunned. A few minutes later, another message arrived. "If you stay in Scotland, you're disowned." I felt tears building in my eyes. Even after everything, hearing your own mother threaten to cut you off hurts. Ethan squeezed my hand. "You're not going home," he said softly. I nodded, but inside I still felt guilty. For 2 days, my mother sent angry messages. Jessica called me selfish. My aunt said I was destroying the family. Even my cousin texted me saying I should sacrifice just this once. I almost gave in. Then something happened I never expected. On our third evening in Edinburgh, Ethan looked at me and said, "There's something I need to tell you." His expression was serious. I immediately worried something was wrong. Instead, he reached into his backpack and handed me a small envelope. Inside was a letter, but it wasn't from him. It was from my grandmother. My grandmother had passed away 6 months before our wedding. She and I had always been incredibly close. Confused, I looked at Ethan. "Why do you have this?" He took a deep breath. "Your grandmother gave it to me before she died. She asked me not to give it to you until after our wedding." My hands were shaking as I opened the letter. The first sentence made me cry instantly. "My sweet girl, if you're reading this, it means you finally started your own family." I continued reading. My grandmother wrote about how proud she was of me. Then she wrote something that changed everything. Years earlier, she had secretly created a trust fund in my name, but there was one condition. The money could only be released after I married and began living independently from my mother. According to the documents attached, the trust was worth nearly $2 million. I couldn't believe it, but the money wasn't what shocked me most. At the end of the letter, my grandmother wrote, "I know your mother relied on you too much. I watched you sacrifice your childhood to raise children that weren't yours. I pray that one day you stop feeling responsible for everyone else's happiness." By the time I finished reading, I was sobbing because for the first time in my life, someone had truly seen what I had gone through. Ethan wrapped his arms around me. "She wanted you to be free," he whispered. That night, something inside me changed. For years, I had confused guilt with love. I thought saying no made me selfish, but my grandmother's words made me realize something important. I had already given enough. When we returned home 2 weeks later, my mother refused to speak to me. Jessica called me a terrible daughter, but this time I didn't apologize. Instead, I calmly told them, "I am your daughter, not your emergency babysitter." My mother accused Ethan of turning me against the family. That's when Ethan revealed another surprise. During our honeymoon, he had saved every threatening text and voicemail my mother had sent. He played them in front of several relatives during a family gathering after my aunt accused me of exaggerating. The room went silent. People who had criticized me suddenly looked uncomfortable. For years, my mother had told everyone how ungrateful I was, but hearing the messages themselves changed everything. Even my aunt admitted she had no idea how badly I had been treated. Over time, several family members apologized. My mother, however, refused. She insisted she had done nothing wrong. Eventually, I accepted something painful. Not everyone changes, and sometimes protecting your peace means accepting that some people will never understand the damage they've caused. Today, Ethan and I are happy. We built a beautiful life together, and every time I think about my grandmother, I smile, because even after she was gone, she still found a way to protect me. Sometimes the people who truly love you don't ask you to sacrifice everything. They teach you that you matter too. And looking back now, I still wonder something. If your own parent demanded that you give up your honeymoon to solve their problems and threatened to disown you if you refused, would you have gone home or would you have chosen your own happiness? Let me know in the comments.